Okay, time for some old news in the NBA. Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Dario Saric, Robert Covington, Jared Bayless, and a 2022 second round pick. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet about how this is a great trade for the Sixers, how they finessed the Timberwolves out of a superstar, or this is a phenomenal job by the Timberwolves getting rid of a locker room cancer. Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins will be so much better without Butler, and how the Timberwolves will be a championship contender now. It's just crazy. So, let's take an in-depth look at this trade. Let's look at the positives and negatives for both teams. And we're not really going to see who won this trade per se, because it's way too early to tell. Of course, we got years down the line to see who really won this trade, or even 1 year, depending on what happens in the future of the NBA. But just a real in-depth look at this Jimmy Butler trade to see what's good and what's bad for each team. First off, let's look at young center Justin Patton. Only in his second season. Really, it should be his first, but, last year in his rookie year, played 4 minutes in one game, had 2 points and a steal. Really didn't get to show much. Shot 1 for 2. Didn't play bad in those 4 minutes. Played actually really well. But, you know how it is being a backup, was in the G League for most of his rookie year. So we're going to look at his college days. Played 1 year, his freshman year with Creighton. He put up 12.9 points, basically 13 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1 steal, and 1.5 blocks in 35 games. Impressive numbers. He's a super athletic center that has large potential to be a great defender and to even stretch the floor. He has the ability to be a Miles Turner type player, not a huge rebounder, can shoot, can play in the paint a little bit, can defend some, can block shots. I really like Justin Patton, a really young center that has huge potential, large amounts of potential actually. I really loved him in college. I think he got drafted a little too high. I did not. I thought he should have went undrafted, in my opinion. I feel like that, or he should have played more at Creighton, should have played 1 more year, or at least went to a team that actually needed more players, because as you know, the Timberwolves really didn't need young guys. They had Butler, Gibson, they had Thibodeau trying to rebuild the Bulls, getting Luol Deng and trying to get Joakim Noah. So Justin Patton really wasn't put in that great of a situation. So that is a nice addition for the 76ers. Of course, you all know Jimmy Butler. In my opinion, he is the second best shooting guard in the NBA, right behind James Harden. Yes, he is better than Klay Thompson, in my opinion, but that's a video for a different day. Jimmy Butler. He has single-handedly carried the Bulls later in his Bulls tenure, of course, when D. Wade and Rondo were on the team. He single-handedly carried the Bulls, single-handedly carried the Timberwolves, because Wiggins... Okay, I'm not going to say Wiggins and Towns played bad. I love Wiggins and Towns. I think they played decent. They should have played a lot better. But again, everybody hates on them because of what they should have done, not what they did. They played okay. Towns, of course, played like an all-star. Can't put any blame on him. Was a decent defender, but then, of course, got worse. Just last year. Not greatly bad. He wasn't bad at all. Just, he got worse. Still pretty decent at defending the basket. Not horrible, of course. Jimmy Butler, so far this year, as of me recording this, has a career high in blocks, steals, efficient field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and field goal percentage per game this season. That is insane. Jimmy Butler is playing at a insanely high level after having a summer of mishaps by the management, fighting with his teammates Wiggins and Towns, mainly Wiggins. Just been a crazy summer for Butler. To go into the practice facilities, bring on the third stringers and beat the starters by himself. Well, not really by himself, of course, but you know what I mean. Him and the third stringers beat Wiggins, Towns, and the other starters in a scrimmage in practice. And then, of course, Butler cussed out everybody. The infamous Timberwolves practice. So, the 76ers got a complete animal with Jimmy Butler. They got the third superstar they've been hoping for. I bet you they would rather have him sign in the offseason, but hey, you got to get what you can get. Got their third superstar finally, and it's Jimmy Butler. One of the best shooting guards in the league today. One of the best defenders in the league. He has been an amazing defender in his career. Not really a three-point shooter, but over the last couple seasons, he's been shooting the three ball pretty decently. He's been actually mediocre, if not a little better than mediocre. And his shooting game as a whole, scoring, he's amazing, but his shooting ability has really gotten better over the last couple seasons, which I've noticed. Still not great like James Harden. If he had James Harden shooting, he'd be better than Michael Jordan. Let's be honest. But of course, his lack of shooting and some dumb decisions really bringing him down. But it's Jimmy Butler. 76ers just got their big three. The East is looking scarier and scarier every day for the Raptors and the Celtics. Now let's look at the Timberwolves side of things. Well, they got Robert Covington. He is a top defender in the league today. There's no denying it. After losing an animal on the defensive side like Jimmy Butler, you need Robert Covington to make up for that. And when you look at not only the stat line, when you watch the game film, Robert Covington, he's easily one of the best defenders. He's also a pretty good shooter, but very inconsistent. You won't know that just by looking at Basketball Reference or NBA.com. His field goal percentage and everything looks really good, but he struggles with consistency. I've noticed that over the last couple of years, last year and this year. He will have games where he will hit everything, and then there's games where he is throwing up bricks like he's back in his rookie year. It is insane, and I honestly don't understand it, but I love this trade. Robert Covington is a great, what do you call it? A great return for Jimmy Butler, I guess I would put it. Not really sure how else to say it. Just, you get one of the best defenders in the NBA today, and a pretty decent shooter, just very inconsistent. Not much more to say here on Covington. The other great addition the Timberwolves got in this trade is Dario Saric. Let's be honest, who doesn't love Dario Saric? He's a great all-around player. He's a pretty good defender, let's be real. He's a decent defender. He's a good passer. He can shoot the ball. He can score. He can get to the basket. He can drive. He's pretty athletic for... He's pretty athletic for power forward. Not that long of a wingspan, I don't think. I'm not really too sure. Don't take my word. I honestly don't know why I just said that. That was really stupid. But yeah, Dario Saric I love Dario Saric. When I'm playing 2K, Dario Saric, not even 2K, okay? I don't play with the 76ers that much. In fact, I never play with the 76ers. But I watch the 76ers on TV a lot, and Dario Saric has been my favorite player since when he came in his rookie year. And he's just been phenomenal on that Sixers team, been the hustle and grind player for them, been the biggest part of the process besides Embiid and Simmons. It's sad to see him go. Him and Covington, two of the biggest pieces of the process are gone. They will be truly missed in Philly. I am not a Philly fan or a Timberwolves fan, but it's going to be sad to see them in a different uniform. It's going to be weird to see them in a different uniform, and I hope they can do well in Minnesota. And now, of course, I'm not really going to talk about Jared Bayless. I mean, he was really just a filler in this this trade. And the 2022 second-round pick. Second-round picks, you don't know how much value they're going to have. It doesn't matter if they're a high or low second-round pick. It's just all depends on if you find that diamond in the rough. Or if your team is good at drafting. For example, the Bucks. In recent years, they have had many really good second-round picks. Two quick examples off the top of my head without even looking them up. Malcolm Brogdon and Norman Powell. And of course, they traded Norman Powell to the Raptors right away during the draft. Trying to think of someone else that was a second-round pick that the Bucks got, but I can't. Chris Middleton was a second-round pick, but the Bucks didn't draft him. They traded for him after his rookie year in Detroit. So there's some really good second-round picks. Oh yeah, Sterling Brown, the Bucks, who they just drafted, was a second-round pick from the 2017 draft, I believe. Okay, now I'm getting off topic. But anyways, you just never know how much worth these second-round picks have. And honestly, even if this was a first-round pick, I wouldn't give it any thought. It's the Timberwolves. Their drafting over the past few years have just been god-awful. I honestly don't know about the Timberwolves. My opinion, just give up on them. Get rid of them. They had Kevin Garnett. They ruined him. Garnett had to leave to actually win more than 20 games in a season. Kevin Love had to leave to actually win more than 20 games in a season. Passed up on Stephen Curry twice. Passed up on a lot of great players like 7 years in a row because they're just so incapable of drafting decent players. It's just incredible to me how dumb they are. Of course, with the 2 number 1 picks, Andrew Wiggins, who they didn't even draft, I'm sure they would have messed that up somehow. They probably would have picked up Jabari instead of the Bucks, to be honest with you. And they got Karl Anthony Towns. That was the only good draft pick they've had since Kevin Love or Kevin Garnett. The Timberwolves have been one of the worst drafting teams in NBA history. And yeah, so that second round pick's probably going to have no value. With any other team, it would be a good pick. But with the Timberwolves, I'm giving it 0 value because of how bad they are at drafting. So, with that said, right now, we can't really say who won this trade. I mean, if we go by right now, at this moment in time, the Sixers have won this trade. In the very first game, Jimmy Butler balled out. The Sixers picked up a win. And it was just incredible to watch. While the Timberwolves, I honestly don't know. I haven't been really keeping up with the NBA. Well, I just went on Basketball Reference, and without Jimmy Butler, the Timberwolves are 4-2. But with Jimmy Butler, the 76ers are 5-2. So it's actually really close right now. I'm surprised the Timberwolves are doing that good without him. So really, you can't say who won this trade right now. But if I'm going off of what I know about all of these players right now, and my estimate or guess about what the future is going to hold, I'm going to say the 76ers are going to win this trade. The Timberwolves are not going to win a title with just these guys. They're going to have to get somebody. The Sixers aren't going to win a title, but they're definitely going to win more games out of this trade. So, who knows? Maybe the Timberwolves can set up something good. Maybe they can sign someone in free agency or draft someone really good, and they can win before the Sixers. And it'll be phenomenal, but yeah, you just don't know this early on. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And with a trade like this, you really don't, because the Sixers gave up 2 great pieces of their team Two phenomenal pieces, actually. Dario Saric, one of the best guys coming off the bench in the six-man role. A great starter. Robert Covington, the same, a phenomenal player and an all-star. This video has ran a lot longer than I have expected. This is Dice Sports, and I'm out.